G'day guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over my round 4 AFL tips, so I'm not going to waste much time. Let's get straight into it. So, to start last round, seriously round 3, I had 3. Actually, last round, I didn't do my tipping on ESPN, I did it on a different app. I forgot, so that did not work out well, but sorry for the tips being a little bit of a different format this round, but it is what it is, so I just have to do it this format. And now, I have to do it this format this round, and now Gus Footy's in first, Shannon Humphrey second, Toby third. I'm 10th somehow. I think my 3 tips really messed me up. So, that's my tipping comp, and I'm going to get straight into my tips now for this round. Sorry for that big ad. But to start off the round, Thursday night football, we have Collingwood versus Carlton at 4:30pm, AWST at the MCG. Well, this is such a massive rivalry, and 90% have tipped Collingwood. I will be doing the same by 10 points. But Carlton, they played pretty good against the Dogs, but in the last quarter, obviously they just couldn't get it done. And then in round 1, they didn't play as good as they should have. They lost to Richmond. Then in round 2, they lost to Hawthorn, which wasn't much of a shock. So if Carlton play like they did, they're definitely losing this. But if they up their game, they could win. That's why I'm going to say it's going to be closer and Collingwood by 12. Moving on to the Friday night at GMHBA, we have Geelong taking on the D's. Now, obviously, everyone except for 2% have tipped Geelong. Have tipped Geelong. And it's going to be a pretty good game at GMHBA if Melbourne show up. But Melbourne haven't showed up at all this season except for round 1 against GWS. And that game they played really well. And this is at GMHBA. I'm not sure their track record at GMHBA, but obviously Melbourne, they did up their game this season. They are 0-3, as well as West Coast and Carlton. So, if Melbourne want to win this, they definitely have to up their game, and they're going to have to up it by a bit. And if Geelong want to smash Melbourne, they won't need to up their game, but definitely from round 2 they will. So, obviously last week they did lose to Brisbane as well. Geelong had a bit of a choke. It wasn't much of a choke, but I think it was 35 points, or 37. But it's really enough yapping about this game. It should be a decent game, but I'm going to say Collingwood. No, not Collingwood. Sorry, Geelong will win by 34. Saturday games, here we go. We have Gold Coast versus Adelaide here at Big First. Now, Gold Coast, obviously, this season they've been smashing and smashing and smashing. Obviously, they've only played 2 games because of that bye. But in round 1, they had the Eagles by 87, and in round 2, they did end up beating the D's by 62, I think. Might have been 63. Don't recall, and then Adelaide, they are second on the ladder. They are 3-0 with, I think, 3 smashings. Round 1 was 62. Round 2 was 62. Round 3 was, I think, 38 against North. So they did show up at the AO, and Adelaide did that in very good fashion. So Adelaide, they're looking like one of the best sides in the comp, but Gold Coast are also. So it's tough to say who will win this one. But people first, it's hard to say that Gold Coast can lose there. They didn't lose much last year there, only to Melbourne, and it might have been another side. But Adelaide, away there, they've done decent at the MCG. Could they do good at people first? Who knows? I'm going to be sticking with Gold Coast right now, though. Moving on to the midday game at the G, Richmond and Brisbane Lions. So, Richmond, obviously, won their first game, then got smashed twice. So, they've got the worst percentage in the league with 59. And Brisbane, obviously, are in third spot, hoping to win this flag this year to go back to back, and they are hunting for it. Against the Eagles, they made a meh comeback, and then against Geelong, they made a decent comeback as well. Then in round one, of course, they also did pretty well against Sydney. Ended up getting that one by 4 points, I think. So Richmond and Brisbane, it's a bit of a one-sided game, to be honest, in the tipping. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better for Richmond this season, and that's why I've got Brisbane to win by 45. Moving on to the night game, North Melbourne take on Sydney Swans here at Marvel. So North, they had one good game this season. The first game, they played all right against the Dogs. And then the second game, they also played all right. No, the second game they played really well against Melbourne, and in the third game they played decently against Adelaide. So they've had a decent season so far. Sydney, of course, they've only got one win. So I think it was against... I don't really recall who the win was against, but I think it might have been against Geelong if they played them. Or I don't really care, but they played someone and they won. So, Sydney, obviously, are the favourites in this game by a landslide, by about 58%. But North could upset this game. But I'm going to tip Sydney. So with GWS and West Coast to start off the Sunday at NG Stadium, pretty straightforward tip. I'm going with the Giants. So here at NG, Eagles, obviously at the Gabba, they played away and they played well. In round one, they played horribly. They weren't that bad in the Derby. They ended up losing by 38, but they weren't that bad. So I have hope for us not to win, but to keep it within 30 at least this game. So GWS, I reckon I'm going to win this one by 18. And the Eagles are going to show up, have a fight, but not win. So I hope the Eagles do something, but GWS, they're just too good. They've got 2 wins and 1 loss, sadly, to Hawthorn. But that's one of the hardest opponents to play right now, so you can't blame them. And that's why I've tipped GWS by 18. Now moving over to the Adelaide Oval for Port Adelaide and St Kilda. This can be a close game. Port Adelaide, they only have 1 win. St Kilda have 2 wins, obviously against Richmond and against Geelong. So Port Adelaide, it's going to be a really good game here. They did lose to Essendon, but they are still a great side. And St Kilda are showing up this season with that 83-point win. How they played in the last half was amazing. And Port Adelaide, they played very well against Richmond. Couldn't get the job done by more than 80, which was surprising. But doesn't really matter. They still got the job done. Win's a win. And Port Adelaide, they probably are going to win this one. It is at the Adelaide Oval. But I'm backing an upset. I've tipped St Kilda to win this one by 2 points. Last game of the round, we have Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs. So Fremantle, obviously they won the Derby by 38. Held up pretty well against the West Coast side. And the Footscray Bulldogs, they also won their last game. It listed as Western Bulldogs here, but they're Footscray. But at Optus, 3:10pm. I'm not going to drag so much more. Fremantle at Optus, they're pretty alright side. Didn't beat Sydney, and I'm going to tip Fremantle to win this one. And last of all, chicken burger or cheeseburger. I've got the cheeseburger. Love the cheeseburger on Friday night footy. Thank you guys all for watching my round 4 tips. Sorry they're in a different format, but I'll see you all soon in the next one. Bye.